Yeah.
Ma'am, I am able to record it on my system. If you'd like, I'll record it and I'll send the file over to you.
Who is this speaking? I could not get that.
Ma'am, I'm Simran here.
Simran. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
It's
Simran.
getting recorded.
Yeah,
It
this is
started
a
recording.
recording. Yeah,
It
okay.
started recording.
Okay, okay. ठीक है. It started no, Uma. Then we no need to tell Simran, right?
No, ma'am, Simran ma'am only is doing that. Simran is only doing
Okay,
it.
okay. Simran is doing. Simran, you're recording, right?
Yes, ma'am, I'm recording it.
Okay. Start the recording. We will start the show. Okay.
Ma'am, it started.
Okay. Yeah, we can stop the screen share and start with the.
Can I start now? Good evening, respected guests, teachers, and all my dear friends. It's wonderful to see all of you here today. Welcome to the Youth Lounge Season 3, Episode 5, a space where ideas come alive, perspectives meet, and conversations create a dynamic blend of thoughts that inspire and challenge us to think differently. I'm Ashidas.
And I'm Avni Maheshwari.
And we're really excited to be your hosts for today. Medicine is far more than just a profession. It's a calling rooted in compassion. Today, we explore this journey through the perspectives of a doctor and a medical student. And we're proud to have both our guests as alumni of our school. To begin with, it is my pleasure to introduce our first guest, Dr. Simran, an alumni of our school who has built an inspiring career in medicine. After completing her MBBS from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Medical College, she has worked as an emergency medical officer, handling critical, high pressure situations with remarkable skill and composure. She has also contributed to medical and trauma care during major events like the IPL and the UP T20 League, showcasing her ability to perform under pressure. Her journey truly reflects dedication, resilience, and a strong sense of purpose. She is currently preparing for international licensing exams to further pursue her passion for emergency and trauma care. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Simran.
And joining her is Miss Aditi Gupta, a third year MBBS student at Vidahi Institute of Medical Sciences, who has consistently excelled academically and is actively involved in clinical research. What's especially interesting is her initiative to simplify medical concepts and make them more accessible, which shows not just knowledge but a genuine passion for learning and sharing it. Through this session, we hope to understand not just the achievements but also the effort, the challenges, and the experience that shape a career in medicine. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Aditi. So, with that, let's get started.
My first question is for Dr. Simran. You cleared NEET on your first attempt and went on to pursue medicine. How did your family and school support you in achieving this ambition?
Hi everyone, good evening. First of all, I really want to thank everyone here for calling me. It's a great honor to be back at DPS. It's always a sense of pride and honor to be here. And Shay, thanks for your question. I think more than cracking NEET on my first attempt, my actual badge of pride would be that I cracked it without a coaching class, which is something not most people think is possible, but trust me, it's a lot easier than most would think. And a big contribution to that effort would be towards the school because I have been a dipsite since grade 4. And one of your teachers, Tasneem ma'am, has taught me right from the very beginning. And something I am very grateful to the entire team at DPS is that from the very beginning, they teach you to be able to handle more than just one thing at the same time. You're not just into academics. Every child in DPS is into at least 2 or 3 different things at the same time. And you're taught not to neglect any one aspect. And most people think that, going to a coaching class or to a tuition center, it focuses you to the exam. They give you questions that are usually on the exam, and you don't really need all of that. What you really need is a little bit of clarity as to what you want. Are you sure this is something you want to do? Are you sorted on your goal and whether you want to finish it this year or whether you want to take a trial run before you actually clear it? So the school and my parents have been very contributory to the effort I've made. And my parents have always made sure that I stay motivated on the goal and don't get astray. The usual, don't use your phone too much, make sure you're studying and practice questions. But the school is what made a difference. I think my teachers always gave me the right books to prepare from. Everyone says NCERT is more than enough. Yes, it is. But to get that practice question aspect and the exam scenario aspect, you need certain other books and questionnaires to prepare from. So that is the support that I got from the school, which I am very, very grateful for. Apart from that, the teachers were very particular that all of us learn the concept more than how to solve that question. Any teacher, I think everyone present here would relate to this, that they don't really care whether you get the answer right. They care whether the process of getting that answer was right. So I think that's very helpful.
I think a lot of us here listening today are in that position right now. To hear from you is really motivating.
So, my first question is for Miss Aditi. You developed a passion for medicine during your school years. What role did school play in kindling and encouraging this passion of yours? Miss
Good
Aditi.
evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. It's great to be back. I think that when you first find your passion, you don't just need the right environment, but you also need the right guidance and someone pushing you towards it. And that's what I found at DPS. A lot of my teachers played a pivotal role in nurturing my interest into what now is my passion. Like the entire biology department at DPS, they were more than supportive. They helped me inculcate my interest and they encouraged me to participate in various things, like submitting articles to the magazine, hosting quizzes, and even most importantly, to ask questions. Because asking questions is the basis for how we learn. And I believe that you also need the right opportunities to understand your passion, to understand why you would like something and how you would be able to take it forward. And that's what I think DPS helped me find because there were various opportunities that allowed me to explore the depths that a career in medicine would offer. As we all got the opportunity to do an investigatory project. And that's when I did a project on a condition called ectopia cordis, where the heart is outside the body. And through that, I got to know more about not just how our body works, but also about how it might not work right. And that was the key point in how I became passionate towards medicine.
Wow, that's really inspiring to hear. It's amazing how the right guidance and exposure during school years can really shape such a meaningful path. So, Dr. Simran, I'd like to move forward to your next question. You have also had the opportunity to handle medical and trauma care during major events like the IPL and the UP T20 leagues. What is it that motivates you to thrive in such an intense and high pressure environment?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to a situation that's that high stakes, like Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. There is a lot of pressure on us when we're working in an environment like that. There are TV cameras everywhere, a player goes down. And I think the biggest motivating factor is, in spite of all that, the fact that we have made a player fit enough to go back on the field after getting down. I think that is a huge, huge plus point that we strive towards. And there was one such incident during the UPT20 league where there was a bowler who hurt his finger in the middle of his over. He tried to attempt a catch and it broke his finger. where the bone was actually sticking out of his finger. And the team, management, the coach, the physio, they were all after us. No, he has to complete the over. He's our star bowler. We're losing the match. We really need him back out there for the next 3 balls. And for a second, of course, we were staring back at them that his bone is literally outside his hand. You cannot expect him to go back. But I think there were some critical moments like that where we got a little creative with the treatment, and he was able to go back, bowl the next 3 balls, and then head to the hospital for further treatment. So that was a very rewarding situation to be in.
That is indeed a very intense experience, and it really motivates all of us here as well because of how you handle the situation.
Miss Aditi, I would like to ask, you're already involved in research as a third-year medical student in Vaidehi Institute for Medical Sciences. So, what drew you to research, and why do you think it plays an important role in medicine today?
So the entire process of conducting a research starts with the basic question of why. Even when we start a research project, the first thing we're meant to make is a problem statement for why we want to start the research. And that aspect of why is what drew me to doing research in the first place. I remember the first time I went to college and we had our first year classes and we went to dissection. And everything was just why. We were like, why is this here? Why is that not here? And when I first figured out that I could be involved in research, I wanted to get into it because it's not something that we would do for us. It's something that once you perform and once you get the results, it's something everyone can use. In current times, especially, it's crucial because it has an impact for a more number of people than we can imagine. And it plays an important role in evidence-based medicine. And because of that, it doesn't let us only limit our uh, achievements and the research projects and the ideas we find to our own hospital, but also to those of other hospitals in not only our country, but even in other countries.
That's really insightful. It's good to see how your curiosity led you into research so early in your medical journey. Dr. Simran, my next question is for you. Empathy is a cornerstone of being a good doctor. So, could you share an insight from your journey where compassion played a key role in patient care?
Sure. Actually, this question is a fairly loaded one. Most people think that sympathy and empathy are two words that are synonymously used. People often confuse the meaning, but something that's very important to understand here is that doctors are required to empathize with their patient from a third point perspective. So we don't often show sympathy in the practical sense. We don't feel what the patient or their relatives are feeling. We can feel bad for them. We can feel a little helpless sometimes that we're not able to do as much as we'd like. Because at the end of the day, we are humans too, and we have our restrictions. One such example that I'd like to point out here is I had a very young patient. She'd been around 23, 24 years old, and she had a long history of a very chronic illness that she'd had as a child. So she's had this procedure called an endoscopy at least 15, 20 times in her entire life, where every time the chronic disease flares up, she has tests, she has investigations done just to find out how bad the new problem is. And when she came to us, she was very distraught. Obviously, I mean, when you go through something that is not a very pleasant experience so many times, you lose faith in the entire premise of getting better. So when she'd come to us, the only thing she said is, do whatever you want, just don't do any more tests on me. And the biggest challenge at that point was to explain to her why those tests were still necessary, because she was coming to us as a fresh patient. I understand and feel for her that she's been through this procedure far too many times, and it does not justify putting her through this again and again. But when she'd come to us, we were starting from ground zero. And we would have to build our own understanding of her condition to be able to treat her or to help her in any way. So I think the amount of patience, the amount of understanding you need to convince a patient at that stage why something is important, even though it feels so fruitless, is where empathy plays a really big role. And I remember at the time of her discharge, we successfully discharged her. The only thing she was thankful for is that I'm glad someone listened to why I didn't want something done, because that is something she hadn't felt so far. And I think if any of you are budding doctors or clinicians or anyone into research, I think the most important thing is you need to feel how a person in that position feels, or at least understand a percentage of what that feels like. Because that is when you start thinking from a human point of view and not just a professional. And that is where the difference arrives between being a doctor or any other professional.
Very well said, Dr. Simran. Compassion is a really important virtue when we deal with intimate care. Thank you so much for sharing.
Now, Miss Aditi, my next question is for you. To crack NEET is a Herculean task. We need suggestions and inputs of what you would give to the upcoming NEET aspirants.
Yeah, in medicine, we're taught to think smartly and strategize and prioritize what's important and keep what's not important secondary. So, like Dr. Simran said, using NCRT, practicing as many questions is important, but what's more important is building concepts. Because once you understand a concept, you can use that in multiple different formats. Once you get into medicine, you really realize how one thing that you might have learned in first year is not just there in that subject, but it will be there in every subject you go. For example, tuberculosis. I heard of it the first time in anatomy in first year, but every single subject, every single posting I've been to after that, it's come up. So I feel like it's important to prioritize the concepts that you learn, strengthen those so that you can use those wherever and whenever you need according to when you want to. And other strategies are also there, like using the 80-20 rule, which says that 80% of questions stem from 20% of the concepts. So you should work smart and focus on what's more important. Aside from that, I want to bring up one thing that I think most people don't talk about as much, and that's the role of your mental state and your self-confidence. Because a lot of times while you're preparing, you feel demotivated. You see someone else performing better than you in a test, and then you think about how you're not maybe well prepared enough. But it's crucial to know that you have to believe in yourself, because even when a bird sits on a branch, it doesn't trust the branch, it trusts its own wings. So you need to make sure that no matter what happens, you're here for you, and all of this you do is gonna strengthen you and better as a person.
Thank you so much for your valuable suggestions and inputs. Your guidance provides a clear direction for the NEET aspirants, and it also highlights the importance of consistency, discipline, and also the right strategy. So, my question for Dr. Simran. So, between medicine, poetry, music, and sports, how do you manage your time, and how do these different sides of your personality shape you as a doctor?
Great question again. I think, like I said in my very first question, I think no DPS kid does only one thing. You're not defined as a dipsite unless you do two or more things. And the entire DPS family is like an overbearing parent who wants you to be good at everything. And so, yeah, most of us do. I think everyone's going to have one hobby and one professional aspect that they're good at. One's a profession, one's something they do for fun. I've had the good fortune to be able to publish my poetry. It was a spur of the moment thing. Internship is a very dark time for most people in any field for that matter. And poetry became a very useful creative outlet to maintain that level of mental health and sanity to keep moving forward. Like Aditi had pointed out, it's very important. Very few people talk about it. And being in medicine, you see a lot of disease and death on a daily basis, and it's not easy to keep a smile and see your next patient unless you have that outlet. So I think, be it poetry, be it music, be it sports, which I sadly haven't had much time for, but I try to make sure that I'm still staying in touch with all of this. It not only gives me joy, because that's what most hobbies do, it also makes me want to go back to my job with a brighter outlook, with more confidence that I'm at the right headspace to help someone else.
It's really insightful, and you know how these interests, they exist alongside your work, but they also help you stay focused and balanced with such a demanding and tough career with you.
Miss Aditi, my last question for you. Fewer students today seem to be choosing medicine due to its demanding aspect and long time period for its completion. So, what would you say to students who are passionate about this field but may feel uncertain or hesitant?
Medicine is definitely time consuming and demanding. There's no doubt about that. But even last week, when we had a class on forensic medicine, we talked about how a stethoscope is the most expensive jewelry a person can have because we spend our entire youth working towards it. But the most important point of this is that once you get that stethoscope on, you have the privilege of being able to help a person, treat them, and care for them, not just cure them. And it's crucial to identify the impact that one doctor can have on the entire generation of future whole family. And we have to acknowledge how the process of becoming a doctor, although it's long, it shapes you as a person. And I would encourage that anyone who feels hesitant to take up medicine should take the time to truly understand the field and what it entails, because if you genuinely are passionate about it, there's no doubt that this journey is going to be really meaningful and fulfilling.
Thank you for your thoughtful insights. Your words offer great reassurance to students who may feel uncertain, and it beautifully highlights that passion and perseverance are the key to pursuing a career in medicine.
Yes, absolutely. So now, as we move on to the next segment of our talk show, we've put together a short and playful quiz so that we can lighten the mood. Just one second. I hope my screen's visible.
Alright, we've got a short and light-hearted and fun quiz lined up for our special guests. So, are you guys ready? Let's begin with the first question. The organ overthinks at 2 a.m. for whatsoever reason. What do you guys think?
The heart, I guess.
Okay, think further. I'll give you a hint. It's the organ you're using right now to find the answer to this question.
The brain.
Yes, that's right. It is the brain. Alright, here's the next question. How many blocks are there in our school right now?
Oh, this isn't fair. I haven't been to the school in, I think, 6 years now. This is not fair.
It's alright.
I'm gonna go with 7.
Okay, that's close. Okay, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It is 8. Well, we've got a pretty big school, and the newest. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were 5 blocks when I was there. So
Yes. Actually, the newest block that we have is actually called the Theta block. So I'm pretty sure you guys have no idea which block that is.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I haven't even.
Yes. Let's move on to the next question. What is the funny bone?
Oh, this is a trick question. It's the
Yeah.
funny nerve, but if you
Yes.
want the bone, it's the humerus.
Yes, that's right. It is humorous. You guys are pretty good at this. Okay, next question coming up. Now we have an
Harry
emoji
Potter, come
quiz.
on, make it a little difficult.
Yes, it is Harry Potter. We've all watched it at least twice. Okay, here's the next one for you. Guess this famous personality.
Taylor Swift.
Seriously. Yeah.
You guys are so good at this. You guys require no hints at all. Okay, let's proceed to the next one. So we've got a compilation of two medical instruments.
Okay, so you've got a scalpel, you've got a stethoscope.
Okay, Dr. Simran, you're amazing at this game. Alright, let's guess the state.
That's underrated.
That's underrated.
Okay, no, it's not. That's underrated. That's a good try.
That's overrated.
That's
That's
overrated.
overrated.
That's overrated. Yes, it is. Okay. What is the word? Guess the word that
Brainstorm.
specifies? Yes, it is brainstorming. You guys require no hints at all. Thank you so much for participating.
This was really fun, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So, as our show concludes, as the Youth Lounge Season 3, Episode 5 concludes, a special note of thanks to Dr. Simran for sharing her valuable insights and inspiring us all with her experience in the medical field. We also extend our appreciation to Ms. Aditi for her thoughtful contributions and for connecting with everyone so well. We would like to express a heartfelt gratitude to the management, our principal, Dr. Manila Carvalho, our vice principal, Ms. Preeti Suta, for providing us with this wonderful platform. We would also like to thank the organizing committee, the head of the Department of Biology, Ms. Anjali Kumar, Ms. Tasneem from the Biology Department, head of the Department of English, Ms. Sonali Roy, Ms. Sioni Dikshit from the English Department, and Ms. Nandita Gupta and Ms. Richa Srivastav from the Broadcast Brigades for their constant guidance and support. This program would not have been a success without the support of the head of the Department of Computer Science, Ms. Vikranti Ashtikar, along with her technical support team, Ms. Umarani and Ms. Deepa. Last but not the least, thanks to all our viewers. You have been a wonderful audience. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend.
Dr. Simran, Ms. Aditi, we would like you to stay back because we would like a picture with you guys.
Sure, no worries.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Simran, you can stop the recording now.
Yeah.